The Persistence drifted silently through the void, its hull scarred by 3 years of running battles across the outer rim. Captain Sarah Chen stood on the bridge, watching the tactical display with grim satisfaction. The Zephyrian fleet, 12 massive dreadnoughts, each the size of a small city, hung motionless in space, like sleeping titans. "Status report, Commander Hayes," Chen said, her voice steady despite the magnitude of what they were about to attempt. Hayes, a weathered veteran whose cybernetic eye glowed amber in the dim light, consulted his console. "The virus is propagating through their network faster than projected. We've got maybe 6 minutes before they realize what's happening." Chen nodded. The Zephyrians had ruled the galaxy for over a millennium, their technological superiority absolute. Their ships were powered by quantum cores that could tear holes in space-time itself. Their weapons could vaporize planets. Their shields had never been breached by any known force. But they had one weakness that humanity had discovered through careful observation and desperate ingenuity: their complete reliance on network consciousness. Dr. Elena Vasquez emerged from the cramped engineering section, her face pale but determined. "Captain, the quantum resonance cascade is ready. But I have to warn you, once we trigger this, there's no going back. The feedback will destroy our ship too." "Understood, Doctor." Chen turned to face her crew of 37 souls, all that remained of Earth's once mighty fleet. "You all know what this means. Humanity's colonies are gone. Earth itself is under siege. We're the last ship, the last hope." The Zephyrians had appeared without warning 2 decades ago, emerging from the galactic core like a plague of metal locusts. They spoke in mathematical harmonics, their thoughts synchronized across vast distances through quantum entanglement. Individual identity was a foreign concept to them. They existed as fragments of a greater whole, each ship a neuron in a cosmic brain. Their conquest had been methodical, inevitable. Human technology seemed primitive by comparison. Kinetic weapons bounced harmlessly off their adaptive armor. Nuclear warheads were absorbed and converted to energy. Cyber warfare was impossible against minds that thought in 11 dimensions. But Dr. Vasquez had made a breakthrough while studying captured Zephyrian technology on Kepler Station, just days before its destruction. She discovered that their quantum consciousness network, for all its sophistication, had evolved without considering the chaotic nature of human mathematical logic. "They think in perfect harmony," she had explained to Chen during their desperate flight from the ruins of New Geneva. "But harmony can be disrupted. We just need to introduce enough discord into their network, a cognitive virus based on recursive paradoxes that their minds can't process." The plan was elegant in its simplicity. Humanity's greatest strength had always been their ability to embrace contradiction, to hold opposing ideas in tension. The Zephyrians, with their unified consciousness, could not comprehend the concept of productive disagreement. "Sir, they're beginning to respond," Hayes reported, his voice tight. "The outer perimeter ships are attempting to purge their systems." On the tactical display, several Zephyrian vessels flickered as they tried to isolate the spreading infection. But it was too late. The virus had already propagated through their quantum links, carrying with it a payload of pure human irrationality koans that had no answers, logical loops that spiraled into infinity, and the fundamental question that had driven human philosophy for millennia: what is the meaning of existence? The first dreadnought shuddered, its perfect geometries distorting as its quantum core destabilized. The Zephyrian minds within, accustomed to absolute certainty, recoiled from the cascade of unanswerable questions flooding their network. They tried to process the paradoxes, to find solutions to problems that had no solutions, and in doing so, they began to tear themselves apart. "Quantum resonance cascade in 10 seconds, Vasquez announced from her station. "All hands, brace for." The universe exploded into light. The Persistence bucked and screamed as exotic energies tore through its hull. Chen felt the familiar sensation of vacuum exposure as the bridge atmosphere vented, but her emergency suit was already sealing. Around her, the crew worked with practiced efficiency, even as their ship died around them. Through the chaos, she watched the Zephyrian fleet convulse in perfect synchronization. The virus had reached critical mass, turning their greatest strength, their unity, into their ultimate weakness. Ship after ship went dark as their quantum cores collapsed, unable to sustain consciousness that had been fragmented by paradox. The largest dreadnought, the one they had identified as the fleet command vessel, hung motionless for a moment longer than the rest. Then, with a flash that briefly outshone the local star, it imploded into a singularity that immediately evaporated in a burst of Hawking radiation. As the Persistence finally broke apart, its crew sealed in their emergency pods, Chen allowed herself a moment of satisfaction. They had done the impossible. 37 humans in a single damaged ship had brought down a fleet that could have cracked worlds. The victory would ripple across the galaxy as word spread to the scattered human colonies. The Zephyrians were not invincible. Their perfect order could be shattered by the beautiful chaos of human thought. In the years that followed, as humanity rebuilt and eventually reclaimed their worlds, scholars would debate the true nature of their victory. Some called it a miracle of engineering. Others attributed it to luck or divine intervention. But Captain Sarah Chen, drifting in her emergency pod as rescue ships from the liberated colonies found her, knew the truth. Humanity had won not through superior technology or military might, but through their greatest gift, the ability to question everything, to find meaning in contradiction, and to never accept that any problem was truly unsolvable. The giants had fallen, brought low by the very chaos they could never understand.